welcome to my channel. My name is Steph and I'm so excited to have you here for today's video, which is another garden tour. I did one of these a couple months ago when we were just starting to get the boxes set up, and we're back now and it's kind of on the other end of the spectrum. We are kind of in sunrise this morning, so if everything looks a little golden, that's why. But I'm excited to take you around. This garden is far from perfect and you're gonna see that today, but I hope it inspires you to go ahead and make do with what you have. And then I'm gonna take you over to my favorite Dahlia Patch. We have dahlias in some different places, but I've been showing you a lot of my dahlias on Instagram and I know a lot of you've been enjoying that. So I also wanna just show you how many blooms you can get out of a very small space. And so I hope that's also inspiring to you guys. Without further ado, let's get into it. So coming up to the garden, we have these rose bushes here. You can see it's starting to bloom really pretty. We planted those on either side. Now we do still need to put an arch in here for them to climb up. But then over here we have the lavender, which is currently in its fall bloom. Still super pretty. The bees are loving it, but it gets a lot fuller in the spring bloom. But there's still some really pretty lavender stems on here for sure. Okay, and then walking on in to the right here, we have our green bean box, which is completely done and looking a little bit in shambles, so that needs to be just pulled out and then reseeded. Okay, so the box next to it here is full of oats and radishes, and I explained a little bit why we planted those on my Instagram, but basically they help capture the soil nutrients and then they will hold on to them until next spring instead of all the nutrients being washed away by the soil. And then in the spring these are decomposed, and which also adds organic matter to the soil, and then they'll release all of those nutrients that they held on to. So basically it's just for soil health. And then our sweet corn, you guys, Hurricane Ida did a number for us right down there and came prowling through our sweet corn. So that is not looking too great. And it also is turning brown. So it's basically done, but it's still standing there. Just imagine it being all like lush and green and pretty, and that's how it was a couple weeks ago, but we missed it. Next to that, in the box down there, is actually another empty box that's planted with oats and radishes, but I wanted to show you the little guy in the corner there. Okay, so this little thing is what we use to keep our pests away. You can see kind of its eyes there. That will blink and then it like kind of has a siren noise. Anyhow, it seems to be fairly effective. And then back here is the row of dahlias that were started from seed. I'll give you more of a picture a little bit later because we are stuck in with the tomatoes, which is the next box over here. These are also on the tail end. You can see over on this side a lot of them are starting to dry out, but we still have a lot of tomatoes to be picking. This is how we tie up the tomatoes. It helps to keep them staked up a little better, which is what's going on here. And these tomatoes actually on this end are all I think they're called super sweet cherry tomatoes. We started them from seeds and they have just gone bonkers. You can see in here we have a lot left to pick. That leads us to the arch, so you can see that tomatoes are kind of leaning on up there. We did have cucumbers planted on either side of this arch, but those are done. So that entire box is full of tomatoes. And then you have the dahlias back there. And then on this side, the front of it has pink gomphrena, and then the back has peppers. So you can see the peppers are in these actual tomato cages, and I have really been liking that just to help keep them contained, helps keep the plant from breaking, and they're also super easy to pick that way. These guys are loaded. On our favorites for this year with peppers are definitely these. These are, I think they're called lunchbox peppers, and they come in couple different colors. It's orange or green, or there's also red ones here. This one is this one is just kind of a mixture of orange and green, but these are, here's an orange one. These are so good just for snacking or with hummus or a dip. Okay, so maybe I can show you a bit of a better picture of the dahlias here. So they go all the way on back here. My favorite ones, I think, are these pink ones. They have such beautiful long stems, making them super fun for like bouquets and stuff. But a lot of different varieties here. Some of them I think I'll keep the tubers to plant again next year. Some of them I will not. All right, the next couple boxes here are empty, planted with oats and radishes again. This one had potatoes in earlier this year, and those two had green beans. And then in the back we had China asters in that little box. And then this one in the back there is just strawberries and raspberries. Those were there, but I think last time we did this, we didn't have any of the gravel yet. This is a close-up of what it looks like. I'm gonna try to put the name on the screen here, what it's actually called. I'm blanking on the name right now, but it's a really pretty kind of neutral color. This was Hudson's box. He was so proud of the corn he grew in there. It was so sweet. And then over here is Kyra's, and hers isn't quite done. She still has some dahlias in here that are doing really well. She's done a really good job with her garden. And then I think she still has a couple of carrots back here. And then this box has a little bit of lettuce back left in there. And then we have carrots in the back. Some are purple carrots and some are orange. There's actually a pipe all the way along the sides of these, and then they go up in the box, and then this comes out, and then you just screw these I think this is irrigate or like drip tape, and you just screw that up onto here. And then this is the timer, so you can adjust how often it's going to water, and then it does that all by itself. Little bag you might have seen next to the lettuce there, that is just a beetle trap. The most effective way we've found to get rid of beetles in the garden. And next to that is a box. We have some herbs left on the garden. I think I have some parsley, chives, and I think it's oregano on the end there. And then we have a bunch of red beets left. And the container on the, or the planter on the end there has lemon basil. These you can totally use either in cooking or also in flower arranging. And they smell so good. Let me show you some red beets. So these guys are looking pretty ready for harvest. Since we had planted this so full, we've kind of been pulling them just some at a time, and then it gives the ones that are left in there more space to grow bigger. So that's kind of what's happening here. And then the next box had potatoes in it as well. Those are done as well. And then over here, I actually want to plant some more kale and lettuce for the fall. Some random tomato plant came up there, which is still in there, and then we have all this kale left. All right, so I think that wraps up the vegetable garden. Let's head on down to the Dahlia Patch. All right, you guys, now for my Dahlia Patch. This is hands down my favorite flower spot in the whole yard. So I am gonna give you a quick little overview here. Do without noticing the detail in these. Y'all, how pretty, seriously. So gorgeous. In the bottom there's a bunch of lamb's ear, and then this mum actually I'm not sure, it overwintered somehow, which I didn't think they normally did, but I guess I usually throw mine out. This one I had planted here last year, and then but it split in the middle. Isn't that so weird? Anyhow, so we have a big like mum shrub on one side and one on the other side. This purple plant is called, then it was here when we moved, but it dries really well and it's so pretty in arrangements as well. And then, y'all, I don't like orange flowers. I thought these were peach from the website, and alas, they are bright orange. So we have 2 plants of bright orange dahlias. These are some of my favorites for bouquets, like fillers. They're so tiny. Look in comparison to my hand how tiny these are, but they're so delicate. Next to that is these, which are huge and so frilly and fluffy. And I don't know the names of all of these offhand, but I'm pretty sure this is a breakout dahlia. And then back here we just have some more pretty purple. These are actually like a lavender color, which is so pretty. And then some white ones, really tall stems. These are really frilly as well. I think I showed these in a vlog when I was putting a couple of bouquets together. On the other side, we have this tall ornamental grass here, and then these, which these are definitely in my top 5 favorite white ones. This is what it looks like up close, and I just think it's so pretty. It almost looks like tissue paper, doesn't it? Okay, and then down here we have some, I think this is Russian sage. Doesn't look the greatest in a bed, I would say, but it's really pretty in bouquets, so it's held on so far. Alright you guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already,